Yeah, man. We here. We are so bike. We are back in the building. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, man. That's your boy Blame Ben. Here today on YouTube. Yes, sir. Man, I tell you, having a setup at your crib to just cook, it's priceless, man. It's priceless. Like the shit I'm able to do now, man, I feel good when I go to work. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel charged up. You know? Subscribers coming in slowly but surely. Views creeping up. It's a beautiful thing, man. Today's topic, though, I just covered the barbershop topic. And now I want to talk about some anime. Y'all see me rocking the My Hero Academia, the Deku jersey. One time for Deku. You feel me? One time for the one time. Man. So I finished it on the last day of the year of last year, right? December 31st. Me and my girl, we locked in, we finished it, right? Part of the reason why it was taking a while, I like to let the things that I'm, super amped up and charged up about, I like to let it build up so that way I could binge it all the way, and man, that show goated in my opinion. It's up there for me because it touches base on like something that I think like a lot of people could relate to, right? Like not having a quirk, or having a quirk and thinking you're better than others, or not having a quirk but then someone found a clever way to gift you a quirk. Like in life, it's like, it kind of works that way too. Like someone might pass away and give you something precious that belonged to them that they know in the right hands it would have more life to continue being used or continue just being maintained, because the level of that person and how they care about things, so it's going to be in good hands, right? And that's just the thing, right? Like the one for all power was very special because it had prior users within that power cultivating different unique abilities, just passing it on from user to user. And by the time it got to Deku, for a teen to be going through all that he went through, putting his mom in complete shambles at times with just being worried for his safety, he had a power that was so powerful that he had no choice but to attract high-powered individuals with their original quirk to test their quirk out against him, just for the bloodlust factor of the fight, and for the simple factor of, if they could steal it, then they're gonna go for it. You know what I'm saying? If they can hem him up hostage, they're gonna figure that out, because they all worked for All For One in a way, or All For One had a unique way of manipulating people into thinking that they're working for him, or thinking that they were useful more than they actually are. You know what I'm saying? And so, Deku, the teal and all of that colors that I really love to rock. Deku tapping into certain power-ups, man. Like, that shit inspired me musically. Around the time when Goku went Ultra Instinct and broke the internet was around the same time I was watching My Hero Academia. And I just felt like the soundtracks and all of that had a lot of motion to it. The writing, the way how the Academy focused on friendships, bonds, and clever ways of making everybody in the class useful and collaborate with each other to make, a standout play, a creative play, a unique play. It's just something, that's what I love about anime. And now anime is super popular, right? Like, now everybody's on the anime wave. But I remember when people would get clowned for this. I remember when people would talk down and say you a nerd, or say now it's popular, so people are gonna bandwagon. They're gonna act like they was always tapped in, or they'll make content out of it now. And I guess that's just what happens when things are genuinely the truth. Is that at some point in time people are gonna come right back around anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's just that they criticize the people that I guess didn't make it cool, or they didn't believe in, or they didn't want to rock with, to make it feel like it was relatable to them. Now you got the whole hood onto these animes. You got now all of a sudden it's relatable. You know what I'm saying? It was heavily unrelatable back then, right? But I think what it is people don't like to be ostracized, or they don't know what they would do if they weren't in a community. And so when you have people like me that exist and walk the earth, where I understand community is important, but I also understand that being to self and focusing on self to figure out, ways to attack the day, way to attack my goals. I got no problem being alone in that. And it's also me knowing that I'm never really truly alone. You know what I'm saying? Because like the One for All quirk, it had prior users that gave Deku the advantage in certain instances that would have probably killed him. And when I translate this to music, right? When I translate that to the power-ups I feel like I get through music, it works the same way. Like, I'm never going to tell you I'm some phenomenal singer. I'm never going to say that, but that doesn't mean that, excuse me, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to write the phenomenal melody or the words that go to that rhythm, right? And, I'm going to test it out. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I wrote this, dope chorus, but like, now I got to find the chick that, can really bring it out. It's like, yeah, I could do that if I'm playing the business angle and, I'm trying to get bread that way or whatever, and collaboration on that side. I'm not against it. But these thoughts came to me. I always say God is the biggest and best ghostwriter we could ever have, because I like to view God as frequency. That's how I'm able to make all the things that I make. Even seeing the God within someone else when they don't even see themselves as a deity of their own right and rank. It's like I'm able to see that within somebody, get inspired by it, and figure out how I could apply it or find it within self to then bring it out of me, and then inspire the person that couldn't see, even though I already knew they already had it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you connect like that with people, when you find the hidden powers within people or within yourself, you realize that it's like, yo, there is no point in trying to take someone else's shine or it factor that makes them them, because it's like, to go for that because you feel like you're lacking that is skipping the work internally to get to that point of self-achievement, right? And it's like the way how All For One treated his brother, like he was discardable, you know, and then at the end it was like, spoiler alert, but it was like, you know, all of a sudden now he loves his brother because he, even All For One, didn't want to be alone. You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy, because what really, you know, makes a villain a villain? You know, it goes back to the perspectives of how they see the world, right? Like, I might be a villain to somebody based off how I carry myself, how I conduct business, how I treat others, right? And what I put out, whatever. And people might be like, damn, like, I don't like the fact that he doing all of that. Who he think he is? Like, he think he one of them uppity type, you know? And it's like, to them, me bigging up self is a problem because they feel somehow, right, that I don't deserve it. Like, as if, you know, God came down and gave them the divine right to tell me what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm now a villain in that person's eyes, and they want to create like a crazy arc about, you know, my character, and they'll tell that false narrative, and they'll sell it to anyone that's willing to buy it, because they probably hated something about me as well, that, you know, now they can team up together and feel adequate, you know, to feel like one person, to be like, hey, we don't like you. It's no different than certain situations going on online where I know for a fact this Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb shit is pissing people off, but I'm seeing a lot of people that, like I said, say they wouldn't talk about it, but then talk about it for a hot segment. You know, me, I don't really care. I'm not connected to the situation like them. You know, I wasn't in the Fight Club and all of that to know what was going on. It's not really my thing, but what I could see how people hate on, you know, somebody being right now the king of the space, the black king of YouTube. You know, someone like Anton, he got the light and exposure now where it's making everybody make videos about this guy, whether you hate him or love him. And it's a crazy genius plan, but I also know that there's content creators that have been doing this for a very long time that are also pissed off about the fact that other people are only talking about him. And that's all they're talking about. And they feel like, damn, like, you know, no matter how much work I put in, I'll never be seen like that. I'll never have my shot like that. You know, and you might be like, well, Brav, like, what does that have to do with the anime or, you know, My Hero Academia, right? And it's that Bakugo was the hot-headed one, right? Bakugo was always trying to, you know, just prove to everybody, and mainly Deku, how much better that he was than Deku, right? He was always picking on Deku, always fighting with Deku, and Deku was always the guy, the kid, the boy, to be like, yo, like, I want to help you. You know what I mean? Like you're my friend. Like, Deku viewed him as a friend. Deku viewed him as an equal, whether he had a power or not. You know, and Deku also, in his initiation, when Bakugo got in trouble in the city by that one boss, that villain or whatever, it was like Slime or whatever the fuck he was, Deku with no power jumped in to try to free his friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that quality of a soul, it's very rare in this world. Because in this world, people are trained to, you know, do this right here. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, now all I gotta do is just edit this, put this shit up on YouTube, or put it up on my socials. I'm gonna get lit. Yeah, man, thanks. I hope it all works out. And then they walk away. They don't even call the authorities. Because, you know, in their mind, even though they're civilians, they don't want to snitch. Like as if they participated in the same crime. It's totally fucking weird. But, you know, the moment Deku, right, does what he does and it bought All Might some time in a way, and then All Might come through and save the day, and even All Might was having his own respiratory issues and internal issues about, you know, how all of this shit is gonna play out. You know, then he was chopping it up with Deku, and he was like, yo, like, I'll take you under the wing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to give you my power, you know, but in order to hold this power, you know what I'm saying, you got to train your body to get accustomed to all the powers that it has, because it's a special, unique ability. It encompasses other abilities, and it strengthens those abilities as the user taps in, right? I could kind of almost, the way how the color variations of everyone within the power, they kind of look like different chakra points within one power source, but that, you know, neither here or there. And so Deku, man, you know what I'm saying? Deku now all of a sudden, you know, he gets his power, but he can't tell anybody because, you know, he knows that people look up to All Might, and All Might is the symbol of hope and all of that, and or the symbol of peace. And, you know, it's like it would just be super controversial to know that the symbol doesn't have his power like that. So it's like, you know, it could cause anarchy and pandemonium, right? So they had to keep it on the wraps. But Bakugo, he was observant, and he was also jealous. That's a lot of these YouTubers' problem. They say they won't do half the things people do in order to receive the shine that someone gets, but they're jealous of the fact that they got it anyway, because they feel like all the hard work that they put in, they're not revered in the same light. And look, these videos, I'm cooking today because, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand it. You know, I ain't even mad at you, but you got to be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the thing about it is, Bakugo had no choice but to accept it, even till the very end. You know, damn near he lost damn near his life. You know what I'm saying? But even before it got to that point, you know, he was like, you know what? Deku just came with a shoot style, and now instead of punching like All Might, you know, Deku had to throw him off the trails. Like, yo, like, I keep showing my smash move like I'm All Might. I gotta figure out a different way. So when he was looking at Ida with the Ingenium boost joint with his legs and shit, he implemented using his shoot style for his feet. You know, and then the tech chick, I forgot her name, but she was able to equip Deku with certain gadgets to help enhance him, which is like a foreshadow technique, really, because, you know, when you watch the end, you realize that he ends up getting like a Bruce Wayne Iron Man suit to just, you know, basically have damn near the same abilities he had, but, you know, it's just teched out. And so, you know, Deku is like, you know, if Batman still had his mom. You know what I'm saying? In a way, All Might, you know, All Might was like kind of like a mentor slash dad. You know what I'm saying? Like a father figure he never had. At least we've never seen it. But, you know, Deku, man, like the gear shift, the black whip. You know what I'm saying? Like my man was climbing through the city like he was Spider-Man. Like my man was creative. He was analytical. He sized up his opponent. He always took notes on the whole battlefield, all the opponents. He took notes on everybody. He was fascinated by everybody's quirk because, again, this is coming from a guy that didn't have a quirk. And so he was inspired to be like the field. But people realized quickly that, yeah, like, you want to be a hero, you want to save the day, but, you know, it's real consequences. People getting put in the dirt and on a shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a bucket of roses. It's not peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying? Like, people is getting killed out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Deku, I remember when he was facing that muscle-bound dude and he had to go Detroit, Delaware, smash like 1,000,000% or some shit. It was like, yo, like, that shit is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then the triumphant, like, music, you know, behind it. And so what I'm saying is, gang, is that keep working on your light. And when you see someone else is shining and it's their time to shine, you big up that shine. You know, you clap, you cheer, you support, you watch. And you go, man, like, that's dope. Like, I know my time coming. I just gotta keep going. Just keep going. Being mad about who, you know, is being talked about the most, even if you try to make a point about it, we see a lot coming from you that looks a little suspect too, because you just run into just bringing it up while simultaneously saying that, why are other people bringing it up? It's like, if you're going to have a show, don't even talk about it at all. For me, talking about it, it's coming from the observation perspective. I don't really have a stake or a horse in the race to be like, yo, like, I care about it so much. So, but then if I care so much, then I'm going to say, don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But what I love about anime is that you can draw the parallel, right? And when Deku was getting praised for all the shit that he was doing and was upgrading and finding new ways to, you know, attack the game or to step up his game, it forced everybody in the class to be on their shit, to step it up. If you saying, yo, I'd rather people invite me to interviews rather than, you know what I'm saying, me, you know, emailing, trying to ask to be on theirs, you know, then that's probably why you're not visibly seen like other people that are willing to do that, that are willing to put their ego aside and be like, yo, like, you know, this is just a cool email, yay or nay. And I still would say to that, like, just know what brands is gonna align with you when you do that, because I'm not saying be everywhere all at once just for the feeling of everybody looking at you like you made it, or like, oh, like, you know, he's doing laps in the circuit. You know, because I get that, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? You almost kind of play yourself out of an opportunity because you feel like they shouldn't bow down first and kiss your ring. And it's like, to them, it's like, who the fuck are you? Even if you're somebody, it's like you're in a world full of somebodies. You know, you're in a world full of other people that might be way more friendlier than you to have a nice dialogue with. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not a shot. It's healthy criticism to anybody doing content creation. You know, Deku's the truth, man. Like, the Circadian Tuxedo song I dropped, the 9-minute piece, where I'm gear shifting 4 beats to make that manifesto. You know, shout outs to, I don't know if how you say his name, but eMDee, EM capital D lowercase EE. You know, I was looking for, when I was making the song, I had 3 beat switches. I know people are like either tired about beat switches, or, you know, it's been an overdone thing or whatever it is, but for me telling my story, and for me knowing how serious the Drake and Kendrick battle was, along with Cole too, after I finished the 3rd verse, I was just like, I mean, like, it's cool. just don't feel like that's the ending. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that there was something more to the ending. Like I need to find something like, and the thing is, I knew it wasn't in that last beat, in the third beat, right? So I'm like, I'm on the internet, you know, I know I can't put the song on all streams. I'm not trying to make money off of it. At this point, this is going to be the biggest marketing strategy ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going at the greats, right? And then I went on eMDee's page, and I think I was looking for originally like, you know, a My Hero Academia type beat or hip hop beat. You know, I really had the idea of somebody sampling, even one of my friends, when I had passed the idea to him, like maybe a year or two ago, about sampling this one part of the production. You know, I don't think he tried it, or if he did, it wasn't what I expected or what I wanted to hear. You know what I mean? But eMDee, bro, like shout outs to him. Like my man, when I heard that shit, he had two versions of it too. So I'm listening and I'm like, yo, if it can give me the goosebumps, the chills, if it can make me talk my shit, like I know that's the finale. Because that's the same shit that when All Might and All For One clashed and that shit was playing, it was like, woo! Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the hairs was rising up. You was just also like, like, it's crazy. And then when Deku had his moment, I was like, well, but that's later, though. Because, again, like, I watched it on the last day of the last year. So, you know, and I dropped Circadian Tuxedo July 4th, you know, on some Independence Day shit for all the independent artists out there, right? So I was already timing it, and I knew that it was incomplete, even though three beats is a good amount of time, as is, listening to it, especially these days. No one's doing that unless you're a guy that already is known, you know, in the world. Then you could do whatever at that point, right? But yeah, man, I found that beat and I said, you know what? We just gonna fuse that beat, make that the last joint. I think Daylight dropped music around the time when Joey Badass was versing the West Coast and Rayvon, you know, and the fact that I allowed time to build and see what would escalate, it also helped the novelty of how I would write my story and kind of like create lines that would have doors based off the people I was talking about or talking directly to. You know, it was like a door of like, okay, if they ever heard this, they gonna open the door and they could see my world, or they could diss whatever's in this world, but it's a portal right here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that fourth beat, shout outs to eMDee, shout outs to YBH Beats, you know, for just putting their talents out there and having me, you know, do lyrical exercise on those beats. I would love to get in contact with those guys. So if you're ever watching, hit me up, because I definitely reached out. But yeah, like, you know, and then it's like I made that track, right? You know, and I really styled it, man. I encourage everybody to go on my SoundCloud and find Circadian Tuxedo, or even on YouTube, find that joint, man. Tell me what you think. Leave it in the comment section. You know, because I really felt like Deku in the last moment. I was gear shifting the 4 beats. You know, now we got J. Cole dropping 4 freestyles. And look, I drop bars on Cole's top too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it almost feels poetic, right? No one's ever gonna, if they ever heard me, they're probably never gonna say my name, because then they risk making a Frankenstein, right? But, you know, my light isn't contingent on someone giving me a cosign to amplify it. You know, if I cultivate it every day and, you know, figure out ways to package it, you know, I might put it in podcast form, music form. It might be a blog, a reel, you know, wherever I'm dropping my light, you know what I'm saying? It's all extensions of me. You know what I mean? So I don't look at the opportunities just because they don't reach out to me that it's negative, like, oh, like they know I exist, but they scared. I never want to come at it from that frame like I'm too important, because there's other shit going on in life that, is contrary to what you believe. Real talk. And, that song to me, it's like, it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, the blending of genres, the references that I was able to re-engineer and make it my own. That's what Deku did. Deku made all of those powers in that One for All power he had his own, right? People gonna tell you, oh, you sound like this, oh, you look like that, right? They gonna come at you with all of those things because humans naturally, compare shit and then put labels on things, right? To kind of compartmentalize like where it should go, right? But it's like they try their best to do that. But as long as you know the science of what you're doing, and you know that, sweetheart or my G, like that shit is one of one. Like you can't replicate that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing on the market that is close to that or is identical to that. You know what I'm saying? To where it trailblazes its own path. Like, if people gonna say I'm a cloud chaser because I went at guys. So what? So what? And so what? Like whatever people are willing to say. So what? Because it's inspiration. It's light. It's what charged me up. It's what encouraged me to spend my money at the studio. It's what had me happy to write my verse and be like, yo, like this is dope. Like if they hear this, like, man, this is gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? But when it's coming from people that didn't access that same level of source, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's just what they say, what Drake said, jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. It's a lot of that shit going on with you content creators. It's just love and hate at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's just love and hate at the same time. You motherfuckers, let me tell you something. If y'all had that level of exposure, you know what I'm saying? You might think you gonna do it different, but when them cameras is off, you probably gonna be talking to your lady or to yourself like, yo, they really on me. They really on my body. Like, I'm really that dude. And of course, like, that goes to your confidence and it goes to your ego and it make you feel like whatever. But, let people have their moments. Let them embellish in what they got going on. Like, like, I don't, you should never practice hating on someone's blessings, man, because you don't even know, what they went through, the path they took to get there. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. And even if you found out, it's not your job to criticize it and complain about it every stream you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would look at it from a standpoint of like, yo, what can I learn? What can I add? You know what I'm saying? How can I switch up the format, the layout? If that's if that's what you want, right? If certain things that someone is doing that you don't want, then it's like, keep it pushing. But you can't complain at everybody loving to talk about this dude. We know why they talking about him. They're all trying to get in the algorithm. They're all trying to, be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it takes a special level of confidence, right? For me, right? I'm a drop in the ocean, right? A raindrop in the ocean. Like, I feel like this YouTube shit has been here for a long time. I respect, certain individuals that carry it a certain way, right? And, it's like, when I think about it, how big that, this shit could really change lives. Like, people could quit their 9-to-5s and just do this, make that their 9-to-5. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about okay, how much time am I going to put into my craft? How much time am I going to really dedicate into learning the ins and outs of YouTube, or learning the ins and outs of just recording and feeling myself recording and how I look when I'm talking to my audience, right? I'm like, and I know I'm passionate about this shit because I ain't even light the spliggity yet. I ain't even light it yet because I'm still in the mode, right? It's like, when I see people doing their thing, all I'm doing is just being Deku, taking notes. The do's, the don'ts. The respect to your power, that power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never want to strip the quality of what made someone great. I would like to analyze it, learn about it. You know what I mean? And if I'm around it to like talk to that person in real time, that's a win. You know, Les Brown, like, in a motivational speaker, like, there's mad cats that I would love to meet in real time and just tell them thank you, because there's times when I go to work and I'm not motivated to go to that job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really just want to create and get paid and travel the world and, you know, be in Morocco like Yayo eating, you know, fried duck, you know, and caviar pancakes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Getting top from a beautiful female genie, which I already have. You know, I already have mine. You know what I'm saying? So we out doing what we do somewhere else. You feel me? But I'm just saying, you know, like, I'd rather be the mountain goat. If I'm not gonna carve my face on the Mount Rushmore, if the world's not gonna grant me that level of access to that type of light, I'm not gonna try to really rob it from somebody. I'm gonna just be like the mountain goat and figure out how to climb to those type of heights, to those type of realms, and still get the quality of the sunset, right? Still be on the shoulders of the giants, you know, and learn how to climb over adversity, rather than being stuck at base camp looking up like, damn, like, it just seemed impossible. It's not at all, man. It's not at all. And you shouldn't give up faith just because the Chatty Patty squad is making videos about an individual that clearly helps the ecosystem of everyone that's in that space eating and doing what they do. Is it gonna be annoying because it's played out? Yeah, but so was anime once upon a time, right? Like, when it wasn't cool, you got hated, beat up probably for, you know, and then now that it's cool, everyone's gonna talk about it. That's just with anything that becomes popular. And my friend or friends, if you've never been popular, well, that's probably why we're getting a lot of videos of you talking about the same shit in a mad way. You know, you just don't know what it's like to be the new kid, or maybe you do. Let's say you do, but it's just you tired of the fact that it's shit that honestly it's drama, right? And so you might feel it's not helpful to the space. At some point in time, Bakugo had to realize, yo, instead of clashing with my mans that is seemingly probably the most favorited by All Might, or the most popular right now, because they all saw him when he was at level 1 and now he's at a high level, an enhanced level, that now they're on his body. You know what I'm saying? Instead of clashing with him or clashing with the classmates that are trying to clash with him, making videos about him, be the guy with your superpower, or the girl with your superpower, that it's like, all right, well, while they focusing on that, I'm gonna work on this shit right here. I'm gonna cultivate this shit right here. I'm gonna make this shit pop to the best of my ability. I'm gonna market this shit. I'm gonna be in the gym with this shit. You know, I'm gonna be every day with this shit. If my friends want to hang out, I don't want to hang out because I'm too busy working on mine. You know, because at the end of the day, right, if you don't work on your gift, your quirk, right, and then a real life situation happen to where it's only your quirk that can get the job done, but you neglected it because you felt like it wasn't enough due to the popularity that went to the, person that is the star of the show at this point, then it's like the world misses out on your greatness. That would have been your time to shine. But the fact that you was too focused on someone else, you were blinded by that and the noise of everyone talking about it. It created confusion and frustration to where now it's like you're off your game. You're off your square. Get back on your square. And this is real shit. This is real shit. A lot of you older cats could learn a thing or two from us millennials. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all can learn a thing or two, man. You know what I mean? Y'all not always right. Like, we're human beings. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay. We're all flawed, bro. We're all flawed. But at the end of the day, when Deku had that power and he knew the risk was using his body as a weapon and constantly ending up in the ER being told by the doc, like, yo, like, your arms is in critical condition. You might not be able to walk. Yo, like, you keep this up. Like, I don't know how many times the frog chick gonna try to, lick the wounds, but I'm just saying, doggy, like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's those situations that sculpted, Deku to be the growing man that he is today. All of the scars that tell a story about his hardships, his pain, and the level of sacrifice and what he was willing to do just to secure peace for his classmates, for the world. You know what I'm saying? He had to be clever. He had to be witty. He had to be sharp. He had to think multiple steps ahead, over his opponent in order to achieve, the win, the victory. And a lot of the times it's not even so much about the clash of strength. A lot of the times it be our own inner child that was neglected in some form or fashion, including me talking. I got my own issues with my parents and my friends and my family, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we all, I'm telling you, man, it's just it's what makes the story unique and tailored to you. That's why I love rhyming the way I do, because I know it's my life. Only I would put the level of care and emphasis on what I'm saying to, create the goosebumps for you guys to feel through music. But that not everybody has that ability. Not everybody knows how to tap into that place, that raw place, that unpolished, unfiltered place, and then present, project, perform. Like, not everybody can tap into that because they're too worried about what everybody is going to say the moment they do. You know what I'm saying? And now that things become popular, now that things or people become cool, the new standard, and you feel like you got a standard, but no one's hearing it because there's a new standard on the block. And you see that people are conforming to that standard. It's like, yo, continue to do what you do, because who you are is just as important to me and all the other people that look to you for certain things. You know what I'm saying? And we don't like to see certain people give up on their dreams. You know what I mean? Luffy told mad people he gonna be king of the pirates. You know what I mean? Naruto said one day I'm gonna be Hokage. You know what I'm saying? Like, these heroic tropes, or these, affirmations, they seem preposterous in the beginning when, you're a nobody, you're a dweeb with level 1, strength and all of that shit. But when you refine it, when you practice, when you lock in that gym and you really start to discover him, that's when you're going to tap into something great. And that's when you'll become, I feel, like a human resource to people that could lean or use that type of energy to motivate them through their day. And I got all of this, right? There's so many more animes that drop life lessons and stuff like that. But, I got the hat. I'm crispy. I got the jersey. You see the ace beads. You see the, come on, man, Gear 5 and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, this anime shit, like, was all the games, anime, music, customizing. That was always me. I didn't need people to tell me it was dope. I knew what the dope was. I knew what the motivation was. When I didn't have parents really in my life like that to show me the way, because they had shit going on in their lives to where, you know, it caused the rip or shift from us being together. You know, my music, my anime, my games is what kept me locked in with core values, you know, learning about relationships, wins, losses, sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love movies too. I could throw movies in there too, you know, because movies is definitely programming, I would say, the majority of people, right? But I think that, like, back then, things that were cartooned weren't taken serious for, like, the gems that was put in the show. But you got to understand, it's real human beings that are acting and voice acting and putting power and emphasis on certain moves. These are real people that are, you know, writing out the script. And you'd be surprised that if you're at my age and on up, when you sit back and you rewatch the same shit that you thought was lame, corny, whack, or you wouldn't be accepted, when you sit back and you watch it now, I'm pretty sure you'll have a totally different perspective, because now your brain is able to capture and realize, oh shit, like, that shit still applies today. Like, yo, that joke that went over my head, like, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, W's in the chat for Deku, for anime, for you know, being an awesome person, for wielding your gifts, you know, for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might feel tempting and sexy to be the villain because you see how it gets rewarded, but you can't fall in love with that outer reward system. The real reward is always going to be what's internal, the immortal flame, the eternal light. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to August Waters. That was a reference to one of our cold songs that we got out on all streams. Make sure y'all tap into that. Also, we drop in the Batcave pretty soon. I can't say what date or time because, you know, I know who's out there in the cloud watch. No, I really don't. But I just still can't say because I want it to be a surprise. But it's coming soon. And you know, yeah, man. Like, let me button it up for Deku, man, because, you know, the quality of life in all its riches, like, you know, and there's still new animes I gotta catch up on and be hip to, but I feel like a lot of the writing is somewhat from a common place. You know, different characters, techniques, and styles of graphics and editing and all of that. But, you know, just shout out to all of the artists out there from every level, genre, lane. You know, my hat's off to you guys for just, you know, leading the way for the culture, making it popular culture, pop culture. You know, even in my song, my 9-minute joint, Circadian Tuxedo, I got a lot of references in there. I got Mandalorian, Star Wars references in there. Like, I like what I like, and I put it on display in a cool way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put it in a unique way where it's understandable and it's layered with edge and creativity, you know? And I think we just need to tap in to more of our gifts and let that shine. And whether the world catches up or rewards us for it, that's totally irrelevant, because a lot of artists don't get celebrated anyway until after the fact, until they're in the ground. You know what I'm saying? You might never get to see that level of light, love, and shine bestowed onto you from actual human beings, because they might appreciate you when it's too late. It's unfortunate that most of us have that fate. You know what I'm saying? But I swear to God, yo, if you just do that shit right now and lock in and put out the best version of you out there, on a positive motivational tip, what Pac said, he was like, he might not be the person to change the world, but he'll be the person to spark the brain that does. That's a real ass quote, because he understands that the show must go on, life must go on, and you know what I'm saying? It's a shared experience right now. Not especially that we got the internet and everybody can see what they're doing and whatnot. So it's like, just continue to add that level of love and positivity into the ether. You know what I mean? Just do more of that. And stay cold always. You feel me? And so I don't know if you guys was expecting like a scene for scene breakdown of everything about My Hero Academia. This is really just my love and appreciation for, the things I like, and I'm always gonna be a cold representative of that. And yeah, man, just salute to everybody supporting me, watching me. It's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride. You know what I'm saying? I've been just editing all day. Like, I haven't been getting any sleep. You know what I'm saying? And if I do, it's for a long period of time to charge back up and then be right back on the grind, but we here. Drop in the comment section what are your favorite animes. What are some animes you think I should watch at some point? I just got my Crunchyroll back popping and stuff like that, so you already know there's like mad shit to watch. And and I'm an artist to make bars out of it. So tell me whatever show, and if you would like to hear bars from that show, you could put that in the comment section as well. It's a community here, man. Pretty soon, like I said, I'm gonna go live and we could really have like the one-on-one discussion and conversation, or not even one-on-one, like everybody that's just willing to talk, we could just read the comments like that and then go from there. But I figured to do some groundwork with these type of style of videos first before I, just push the button and everything is on go from there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, stay tuned with me. It's your boy Blaine. You know what I mean? We in the month of February. If you in upstate New York or just in New York in general, East Coast that, might got some snow, just be careful out there. You know what I mean? Be careful out there, bundle up, drive safe, drive slow, Yeah, just stay focused, man. Stay focused. All right. Peace.
Yeah. Just when I thought I was out, they bring me right back in. People getting shot, people getting got. My turn.